You're listening to a LeftLion podcast. Welcome to another episode of the LeftLion Interviews podcast. My name is Jared Wilson and I'm the Editor-in-Chief and co-founder of LeftLion. I'm delighted to introduce today's guest, the actor Chanel Cresswell. Chanel was a student at Nottingham's television workshop and got her first professional break as a 15-year-old, appearing in Shane Meadows' 2006 film This Is England. She went on to take a leading role in the 3 subsequent This Is England TV series, and in 2016 she won a BAFTA for Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal of Kelly. Following this, Chanel has gone on to star in TV shows like Trollied, The Bay, Dracula, Des, Vardy vs Rooney, and most recently she's been working with Guy Ritchie on his Netflix series The Gentleman. We're going to talk about all this and more over the next hour.
Hi, this is Sophie from LeftLion, Nottingham's iconic culture magazine. Each month we publish a beautiful free magazine that shines a light on the art, music, food, literature and more that makes Nottingham such a vibrant and creative city to live in. It's a bit unusual for a local print magazine to exist these days, but we've managed to keep going for over 20 years, giving the city's artists, photographers and writers a platform to publish their work. We distribute 15,000 copies in over 300 venues across the county, and you can find LeftLion in every local library, every Castle Rock pub, in all active Nottingham leisure centres, and all the best bars, cafes and hangouts in Nottingham. If you're ever in town at the start of the month, you may have seen our LeftLion bike rolling around the streets. In line with our pledge to be a carbon neutral company, we deliver our magazines on foot, by electric bicycle or where strictly necessary by van. You can also read the full magazine and lots more for free at leftlion.co.uk. Check out the events listings on our website to find out what's going on in Notts, and if you'd like to promote your business or organisation with us, please visit leftlion.co.uk/advertise.
So where did it start? Where did you start and where did your love of acting begin?
Well, obviously it started at the workshop, and I was in Alison's group, funnily enough. So yeah, I was probably about 11, and we've actually just been speaking about this. My mum, this is so embarrassing, I've never actually told this story. We went on holiday and Paul Gascoigne, the footballer, and his wife was on the same beach. And I think I just burst into song on the beach and dancing. And his wife went over to my mum and was like, oh, you should do something with her. She likes singing and dancing and whatever. So my mum decided to put it all in a letter and give it to Alison and Ian, basically begging them to let me into the workshop because apparently I had some sort of miraculous skill of some sort. But yeah, so Alison and Ian actually never let me live that down, that my mum bribed them basically into getting me into the workshop. I thought, oh God, yeah. So I started off at the workshop and then, yeah, I was just really lucky, I guess. Shane Meadows popped down one day and then, yeah, kind of just saw me and thought, oh, she's got long hair, I want to shave her head. And then I went off and did that.
So I want to go, before we talk about Shane, I heard you were in Bugsy Malone when you were at school. Is that true?
Yeah, I was.
And was this pre-workshop or during workshop?
Pre-workshops. This is literally, I did a play. I played Blousy Brown. And I remember, but the thing was, I didn't enjoy it. I actually hated acting at that point because I used to think, oh gosh, I've got to learn all my lines and stand in the right place, and I'd be carrying this bag and it'd be shaking because of my nerves. And then it was really funny because then obviously I went on to do the workshop and I actually loved it a lot more than I did when I was obviously at school and doing the Bugsy Malone play.
It's all in the teaching, right?
It is. It's all about the teachers. But yeah, I loved it. It's just learning the lines for me. It just makes me really nervous because, if you're on the stage, you've got that one shot and then you feel like that's it. And it's true, you've got to improv on the stage if something goes wrong. But TV, I just found more comfort in it because if I went wrong, sorry guys, I've got to do it again. You can blame your other person that you're acting with. Oh, it's their fault, they made me laugh. Or I just blame the other people. And then you get another take.
Yeah.
It's just a bit more, there's a safety blanket there that I like. I'm getting old now, I like the safety blanket. So, yeah.
So carrying on talking about you as a little girl, did you grow up in Ilkeston, is that right?
I grew up in Codner, near Ilkeston, yeah.
And did your mum and dad run a pub, is that right?
Yeah, they did.
So the Queen's Castle. What was it like growing up in a pub? I mean, I always think that would be like the best place to spend Christmas. Would it?
Yeah, well, you have to work all through Christmas Boxing Day, so it's not great. But when I was younger, obviously, because we was always in the pubs, that meant I drank quite early. So I think I was about 6, and my dad was in the office in the back, and I used to sneak behind the bar, pull a bread crate under the woodpecker tap, and I'd be drinking the woodpecker straight from the tap, and my dad would go, "Get your head from under that tap." And I used to think, how on earth how do you know I'm drinking from it? And obviously there was cameras that you could see in the office, and so he just saw me, 6-year-old, just down in this cider, 5%. He let me do it. I don't know why. He obviously thought it was amusing. But I remember the bar was like really long, and like we had brass, like the big brass bars, like, with all the elephants' heads. And it must have been about 15 foot long, this bar, in a nightclub. And he said, if you do all the brasso, like, with a brasso, and you've got to rub it all down. So I did it all. I thought, pay me for doing it. He gave me a Mars bar. So I thought, I'm not falling for that again. But yeah, growing in the pubs was nice, meeting all the people. Because the more characters you get to know, they give you ideas for when you're working. You can kind of go, that kind of reminds me of somebody else, or somebody that I know. So it was nice meeting all that range of people that come in.
And you got brothers and sisters? You got a sister, haven't you?
I've got a sister, yeah.
Yeah.
She auditioned for the workshop.
Did she? She didn't get in?
No.
Ooh. Is there like a...
And she's not here tonight.
Drive a wedge between... Yeah.
Didn't want to come.
Oh, bless. So, you were 11 when you joined the workshop, is that right?
Yes.
And who else was there at the same time as you when you first got there?
We had a really special year, so... Sorry, that sounds really big-headed. We had the best year. But there were just so many people now that have come out and have done amazing. So there was Jack O'Connell, Michael Socker, Aisling Loftus, Georgia Groom, I think Joe Dempsey. We had like a really special group of people. So yeah, now they're going on and doing amazing things. Angeli. So yeah, really
that is
lucky.
a killer lineup, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Do you like...
And I think we was all in Alison's group.
Well, yeah, there you go. What plays did you do?
Well, there was one called Jesse Flood. And it was centred around a character in his life. And I think it was Joe Dempsey, wasn't it? Another workshopper who's done amazing. And I just remember he was a bit older than me, and I used to think, wow, like he goes on stage and just like, in the workshop at the time, the basement, and he just had to remember all these lines, and I just thought that's incredible. So that was a really nice play to do. And then I did one with Jack O'Connell, and I had to we was getting an alien invasion, and I was like sitting on his knee, and we were tying ourselves around a chair. So it brings back nice memories to think of all those plays that we did and all the hard work that everyone put in. Really nice.
Do you keep in touch with any of those guys?
Yeah. So if I go to London, I'll sometimes meet Jack, and there's James Burrows as well. We all do keep in contact with each other, and if any of us, like the This Is England lot as well, if anybody needs help, we're in a group message.
Yeah.
And we're all rallying around each other. Yeah.
So let's talk about This Is England. So firstly, that was your first professional job, is that right? Not done the bill or anything like that before?
No. Straight into This Is England.
Straight into This Is England, that's pretty good. What do you remember about the audition?
I just remember there being like loads of people, and us all sat there, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to be seen. Not a chance. There was just like literally about 50 people in the room. It was like, I was sat on Danielle's knee, who plays Trev. Like there weren't even enough chairs for us all to sit on. So I was just sat on a knee. I thought, I'm never going to get seen for this. And then weirdly, he just said, Shane wants you to go to the recall. And then somebody said to me, it's for a skinhead film. And I thought, I think they're having me on here. And then somebody said, yeah, if you get the pot, you've got to shave your head. And I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke because I thought there's no way, surely, that they're going to shave all her hair. Like, I'm a child. No, they didn't care. Shaved it straight off. But I remember I watched Vicky have her head shaved, and I sat there. I thought, oh my god, they're just like, and I sat there and I started crying, and my mum looked at me and she just went, no sympathy, not one shred. She just looked at me like shook her head, like, just get over it. And I had to watch all the boys, all the girls have the haircut, and they saved me till the very end. Oh. I thought, that's cruel. Like, yeah, we'll do Chanel at the end. So, yeah, that was a surprise. I thought it was a joke, and it wasn't. I ended up having to go to the hairdressers and having it all shaved off.
And that haircut was the one, it was shaved all off at the sides and back, wasn't it? And then you had, like, the...
all over.
Flat top.
All over, and then just a fringe.
Right.
And that year... After I'd been filming, it was the prom for the school. Not one guy asked me. Not one person. Oh no, somebody did. So this guy was really popular. I think he was playing for like Derby County at the time. He come up to me when I was friends with him. He said, Chanel, skinhead, do you want to go to the prom with me? And I was like, oh my God. I won't say his name, I nearly did. He's asked me to the prom, and I looked at my friends and go, oh my God. He said, well, I'm just going to ask this other girl, and if she says no, then I'll take you. I thought, brilliant. I thought, no, you're all right.
Kids can be so cruel,
yeah, and she said yes. So I didn't go with anybody. Oh. I was probably the only person with no... And look at me now.
Did all right, yeah.
Now they wish I was on the bloody prom photo, don't they? I hope so, anyway.
So tell us about being on set of that film. Were you still in school at the time, right? How did that work?
Well, put it this way, I think if I told you what we weren't up to anything bad, but it won't be allowed now.
Right, okay.
I just think we was quite naughty, because we had one chaperone for all of us, but they obviously was busy with Tomo. So I just remember just smoking all the time, and I was 15.
Getting into character.
Yeah, it's character role. That's what I told my mum when I've got 20 deck in my bag. It's just character role. That's why there's 20 fags in there.
It was a bit different then, though, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
2006.
Yeah, it was. And I think because there was a lot of us, but because Tomo was so young, we felt like we were older, and we kind of got treated like we were a bit older, I thought. And it was difficult for me to go in an environment of work and it be very professional, and then go back home and be treated like a child. I just found that dynamic weird, because we were dealing with project matters that were quite serious, like with the racism and things like that was, intertwined in the film. Like having to hear that at 15 and not feeling right. It was quite a grown-up subject for us all to be playing, and then to go to school or go home and then be treated back like a child. I just thought that was strange.
Yeah, it's a difficult dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, it was bizarre, but yeah, it was looking back now, it was quite a tough job. But at the same time, we got to watch obviously Stephen Graham, Vicky, just bring this whole story to life. It was amazing.
So between the end of that film and the start of the series, I've been looking at your IMDb, you see. You did a lot of short films. Schoolboy, Bale, Butterfly. Can we watch those anywhere?
I don't know. I know one short film that I did, it actually went to the Oscars. That was Wish 143. I think you can catch that somewhere, and that's actually really lovely. It's actually quite a funny story. Well, it's not. Now I'm going to tell you. But it's about a boy that has terminal cancer. That's not the funny bit. It was the fact that he got one wish. So it was about a wish foundation. And he'd not lost his virginity yet. And so he goes to his local pastor or his local priest to help him, aid him in getting somebody so he could fulfill his wish. And it was about that story. So it's really beautiful and really, really funny at the same time. But yeah, that made it to the Oscars, I think. And that's a nice film, but I don't know where you can catch these short films.
Fair enough.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's always a good one.
So in 2010, 4 years after the film, Shane brought the gang back together for the start of the TV series. How did it feel to be back? Were you all just dead happy?
Yeah, I remember I was on my mum's bed and I got this phone call and it was like, oh, Shane's bringing all the gang back together. And I was like, oh my God. Like I rang my friends straight away and was like, oh my God. And then I remember getting the script and thinking, God, this is going deep. But sometimes when you do a film, when you do a series after, you kind of think, oh, it's a bit more of a diluted version of the film. It's not going to be as good. But then when we read the scripts and they got Jack Thorne on board and we read them, they were amazing. And 86 was my favourite. And 90, I just thought it was like so much comedy in it and then so much pain as well. It was just the mix, the writing was incredible. But yeah, we was really excited to be back because we had the audience, everyone loved This Is England, and so to do a series, it just seemed the right thing, and it did keep its standards up still.
I mean, those characters have all become part of the national consciousness as well, haven't they? I think, they feel particularly special maybe in Nottingham, or in the East Midlands, but I think nationally they're quite well loved because it's this iconic thing that's not just about London, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do people stop you and go, Kelly?
I knew you was going to ask that. Last night, I went to see Ricky Gervais and I brought my mum. We don't go out very often. So we ended up in the pub and there's a folk singer. So me and my mum are dancing and then there was this group of lads that was just like, Kelly. And I was like, hello. And then I ended up having a few with them. I bought them all a drink and I just ended up partying with all these people that just, because they know you from This Is England and it's like a group of friends. It was just like they were my mates. Do you know what I mean? It was nice. And they got a free drink out of it.
Shane told us, we had Shane here a couple of months ago, and he told us that you were all quite instrumental in creating your own characters. How much did you think you helped to develop that character of Kelly? Did you sit down and actively write biography stuff for her? Because I know Vicky did, didn't she, for Lowell?
Yeah.
She basically bought Shane look, here's the backstory and here's all these notes.
I think at the beginning, I probably wasn't going through a great time myself personally anyway, so that when I was playing Kelly, it was kind of like a relief to just kind of let off some steam. And Kelly was very like me. And then when we did the series and Kelly's story grew bigger, I could put more of that into it. So I guess that's why working class actors, I think, are some of the best actors ever, because they have so many more life experiences from a young age and they see so much. It's more, you have more levels to your character, I think, in terms of what you play and who you play. And so I just think Kelly came at the right time for me. And so I just knew who she was. I knew what I wanted to play. And then when 90 came along and, she kind of went down a dark path, I was just really excited to do it because I'd built myself up so much for her. For me to go through it and do it. And then obviously when I won my BAFTA, I just thought, wow, all that pain that I'd been through from a young age worked for me, and I wouldn't change it for anything. So yeah, I guess I already knew Kelly before I even started playing it, really.
How much is Kelly like you? What are the biggest similarities and the biggest differences? Or like you were then, I guess, because we all change, right? Yeah,
I guess she was my rebellious side when I was 15. Underage drinking, smoking on the park, not going in on time. So it's probably very similar. But other than that, I'm quite behaved, believe it or not.
When you were filming that final series, I mean, obviously the character Kelly gets drugged, abused on screen. How challenging was it for you? How did you disconnect when the camera stopped?
I don't think I did for a long time. I was actually going out with somebody for about 2 years prior to filming it. And then when I finished filming it, we ended up splitting up because I think I just still wasn't, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's not that it stayed with me. I went back home and I was fine, but I don't know. I just think it can do a lot to you when you're playing that for a long amount of time. So yeah, I don't like to think I'm a method actor at all. I can kind of switch on and switch off, but that one did stay with me for a bit, I think. It's funny what characters do stay with you and ones that you can just be like, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. But the Kelly still stays with me now. Like if there was going to be another This Is England, I'd want to make sure that I'm involved in what happens to her and her fate, because she feels like it's my child, if that makes sense. And I don't feel that about anything else, character-wise, that I've played.
I mean, if there is as well, it's one of the kind of hanging threads, isn't it? It's Kelly and Combo are the ones that everybody's like, what happened to them?
Yeah.
So
We keep bullying Shane. So we went on a Christmas do last year and we keep going, Tomo would come over, Gadget had come over. There was me, Vicky and Trev. And we kept going, come on, Shane, we're not getting any younger. Like, we're getting old. Like, you've got to hurry up. So he's got some ideas, apparently. Did he tell you that?
he mentioned,
Yes, he's keeping his cards close to his chest. Starting to piss me off a bit.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got a couple of other things to do first, right?
Get rid of them. We want This Is England back.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
And,
Is there like how often do you keep in touch as a gang? Do you have a Christmas do? Do you have a WhatsApp group?
Yes, we do. We have a WhatsApp group, and we've just discovered on WhatsApp you can do polls. Does everyone know what that is? So like you can all like choose an option. So we always put polls in there because we've just decided we never knew it was there, and now we've discovered polls. So like we always have like polls of like, when should we do the Christmas do? January off? Like it's just silly questions. But yeah, we all talk all the time, which is nice.
And when one of you has a big part, do you like? Does everybody watch it? Basically, did you watch all of Line of Duty, for example, or he's just not that fussed?
I don't watch a lot of TV.
No, okay.
I know that sounds strange, but when one of my mates are in something, I'll always have a quick look and just like say if they were good or not.
Yeah.
No, not really.
You were crap.
Yeah, that was rubbish. The worst acting I've ever seen you do.
Right, I've got a weird question to ask you, and I'm a bit scared about what the answer might be. But when we interviewed Shane here 2 months ago, I said to him, is there a question that we should ask Chanel? And what he said was that you should ask Chanel what the gift that she bought to me at an event we were at last night, which was at the Television Workshop ball, was. What gift did you buy for Shane?
This is actually quite boring, so I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Okay.
But every time I go out with Shane, he always... So I vape. I know, it's not great, don't do it or whatever, but I do. When I have a drink, I like to have a little vape. So every time I've got my vape on the table, I turn around, it's gone. Shane's got it. Because he never buys himself one, because he feels guilty if he does that. So what he does is, he waits for me to put mine down, and then all of a sudden I turn around and it's gone. So we was going to the fundraiser, and I knew Shane was going. So I said to my friend on the way there, I said, let's just stop at a petrol station, because I know for a fact I'll be on a table with Shane, and I'll put my vape down, and he'll go and get it. So anyway, I walks into the event, and I'm vaping. He looks at me, I thought, here we go. Just wait for it. Chanel, is that a vape? Well, of course it is. What else is it gonna be? And then he says, and I said, I'm going to stop you right there, Shane. Hold my drink. So he held it. I went rummaging my bag. He went, what are you doing? I went, there's your own. And I wrote on the box, Shane's vape only, and passed it him. I said, I preempted what was going to happen tonight. I knew what was going to happen. There's your vape. Give me my drink back. Leave me to my table.
Oh, that's a nice.
So I got him a vape. That was the gift.
Yeah, that's nice. That you know him.
I do, yeah.
2011, you got a regular part in a show called Trollied. I have watched quite a lot of your stuff recently in preparation for this, but I didn't watch Trollied. But can you tell me a little bit about it? There's a lot of famous people in it, right?
Yeah, amazing cameos. There's Mark Addy, Jane Horrocks, Jason Watkins. I remember I was auditioning for this, and I'd just grown all my hair from the film. We were filming for something, but we was about to do 88. So the Christmas special, I've got the big black hair. I'd just grown it, so it was kind of like a nice little bob cut sort of thing. And then I got a recall for Trollied, and the next day I was meant to be shaving it all off again. And so my agent rang Warp Films, who was doing This Is England, like, look, she's got an audition, can we just leave off cutting her hair, because might jeopardise her getting the part. It was like, no, we've got to do it. So they'd been auditioning me and I got like nice little bob. And then the next time they was like, no, we've got to cut her hair off today. So I went into the audition room and I just looked at me and went, what have you done? And I thought, I ain't got this part anymore. I said, well, I've just had to change my hair. He went, change your hair? It's gone. I went, yeah, no shit. So anyway, I still ended up getting it. So they just had to strip, because I had like black blue hair, and then they had to strip it all back so it'd go brown again. That was it. So I walked into the audition room like that. They looked at me like, oh my God, who's shortlisted this person? And then, yeah, I ended up still getting it. But that was probably one of the best, because I'd gone from doing This Is England, which was really serious and crying every day, and then I got to go and laugh on set every day. And I thought, I've been paid the same for that job where I'm crying and it's a nightmare, and then I get to go and do a lovely comedy where it's all, everyone's laughing and a few lines here and a few lines there. It was lovely, that job. Really enjoyed it.
We know it's hard having to wait a whole month in between LeftLion magazines. Heck, it's difficult enough getting through the week. Worry not, listener, we've answered the call. You can get a pithy, up-to-date digest of the best stuff going on in Nottingham each week direct to your inbox every Wednesday by signing up to the LeftLion Weekly newsletter. LeftLion Weekly contains our top recommendations of events, new content, exclusive competitions and more besides. So what are you waiting for? Visit leftlion.co.uk/newsletter to sign up now.
Well, in 2019, you played Jess Meredith in The Bay.
Yeah.
Who was a mum of 4 kids, 2 of which went missing. You get quite a lot of traumatic parts, don't you?
I must just look like I've had a tough paper round, because any rough part going, I'm there.
How was that role to play, and what kind of research did you do for that role?
That was a difficult one because I don't have children, so to kind of play a mum, and then I go on set and the kids are bigger than I am. I was a bit insulted. How old do I look? But the thing about that job is, obviously with the subject matter that it was, that a child had gone missing and was evidently murdered, it was quite a bit of a tough one to do. So to be honest, I had to ring my uncle, who he's quite a character, my uncle. He's always been really supportive of my acting career, but filming the loss of a child was something that I could not connect with at all. So I remember I read the book of James Bulger's mum. She did the book and she wrote her that. I read that to kind of get into sort of the mindset of it. And I rang my uncle, and he lost his daughter, my cousin, at 9 years old. And I just asked him how he managed to get through it, and like kind of if he was happy to talk to me about it, which he was. So I kind of just lent on him a lot to kind of tell me about his experience, because if I'm going to do a portrayal of somebody, I want to try and do it the best way that I can and the honest way that I can. And so I went to the next best source that I had was my uncle, and he was very open and honest and told me about how he felt and how he was when we lost our cousin. So yeah, that was quite a difficult one. But it's weird because when you film the really, really serious stuff, when the camera stops, I don't know what it is, I just get the giggles, and it looks like I'm being really inappropriate, but it's just the only thing I don't like. But we were all the same, like we all just started like making jokes and making each other laugh. I don't know if it was because it was so serious when we was filming it that we got this little break and we could just like release and have a laugh and then go back to crying again.
Yeah, it's quite a natural human thing to do, though, isn't it?
I think so. I laugh at all the most inappropriate times. It's just, it's never a good thing, but there we go.
So, in that part, forgive me for this, but you were cast alongside Jonas Armstrong, who played Robin Hood on screen. Did you ask him what's it like being Robin Hood? Did he talk about it?
He did a little bit. He brags. He bragged about it.
Okay.
He bragged how much he was in the gym and how hot he was and how many muscles he had.
Right.
And then he got a picture up of himself to prove it. And I thought, wow, Jonas, yeah, look at those muscles. Oh, yeah, you're gorgeous, yeah. I went, have you had enough now? Like, we got on really well. He's still a really good close friend of mine. Yeah, he's actually out in Bulgaria filming at the minute. But yeah, we had a great time. Yeah, he was amazing. But yeah, he does like to talk about Robin Hood. And I said, oh yeah, he was great in it. I said, but your accent's rubbish.
Yeah.
And that really annoyed him. I was joking, obviously.
Let's talk about Des as well. This was quite an interesting one with... So you played Leslie... So Des is the story of the serial killer, Dennis Nielsen. It's got David Tennant in it, and he's just surprisingly not David Tennanty, right? Because, you kind of know what you're getting with that actor in many ways, but in this, he's just, strangely psychotic. And you played Leslie Mead, the partner of one of the victims, which is, in one of these photos that's with fantastic hair.
It's a wig. Let's just make that very, very clear. That is not my hair.
What are your memories from that project?
The first memory I had is when I put the wig on and somebody came over to me and went, oh my God, you look like Kylie Minogue on crack. And I thought, that's a great way to start. So that was my first memory. I remember sitting in like the green room where all the actors were, and David Tennant walked in like in these big glasses, and everyone just went silent. And it's like he didn't really speak to anybody. He kept himself isolated. And I remember just looking at him in court, and he looked over at me and he just stared at me. And I thought, oh my God, that actually made me really, really nervous. But it was in character, and it was like just this moment that we had in the courtroom. Yeah, he just looked straight at me, and it sent like a shiver down my spine, and it made me like just so nervous. He was amazing in that show. It was actually quite scary being around him, because he looked so real and so, oh yeah. But I just remember he just looked at me. And then I saw him at an event the other day and was wearing a suit by the same designer. So I went over and was like, nice suit. And then I said, you won't know I was in Des with you. And he looked at me and went, I thought, no, I'm all right. No, your hair. Oh, right, yeah. I thought he was saying I was going crazy. I was like, no, I'm fine. Like, but he was on about my hair. And so, yeah, it's nice to see him again.
You were in Sherwood as well, the recent BBC drama, isn't it? That's kind of like set in Nottingham, not really set in Sherwood. So I grew up in Sherwood, born and bred, but that and I think it's quite a good TV show as well, but it's more like Eastwood, isn't it? I don't know if that's how it feels. Anyway, you were in that. Did you get the part because they knew you were from round here?
Well, it was the same director that did Des, did Sherwood. So he rang me and said, I've got this part if you want to play it. And I said, yeah, all right then. And then I come literally in like 2 seconds at the end and play Leslie Manville's daughter. And so, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed that. And Leslie, I always see at like different events, and I always call her like my mum. So yeah, it's nice to see Leslie.
She's a good one, isn't she? She'd be a good mum, definitely.
Yeah, she's great.
Lived a life.
She has.
Right, let's talk about playing Colleen Rooney. You were brilliant in this. Okay, I love this basically, and I didn't think I'd like watching Vardy versus Rooney because I didn't get the. I follow football a little bit, but I didn't really get it, what was going on at the time. And then me and the missus watched it, and we both loved it. We really did. It was gripping. How much did you know about all of the trial stuff before it?
None.
Really?
No, I don't read magazines or things like that, or gossip columns or celebrity. It's just not my thing. So I knew nothing about it. And then all my friends rang me. They was like, you're going to get this. They're going for this Colleen Rooney part. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I got the phone call, did it. And I remember I didn't know whether to do it or not, if I'm being completely honest, because it was just one of those subjects that seemed really, really big. It was all in the press. And I just thought, is this a good thing to be stepping into? But then I read the transcript of the court case and I just got embroiled in it. And I just loved it. And I thought, obviously, what's the guy that's in it? Michael Sheen, that's it. And then when I heard Michael Sheen also was in it as well, I was like, oh my God, that'd be amazing. I'd love to meet him. And so they just had a really good team on board. But I was on holiday. This was before I got the audition. My friend that was with me, like Wayne Rooney, and I'm name dropping here, sorry. he's just texted me. He wants me to go meet him at the water park. Do you want to come? He says his missus is there. And she'd just gone through all this trial with Vardy or whatever. I'd seen bits of it. I said, I'm not going to go. I said, she's gone through enough this year. The last thing she needs is somebody that she doesn't know turning up. You know, she's on holiday with the kids. I said, I'll just sit here. I was this close to meeting her. Now, could you imagine?
And this was before you got the
Before,
part.
and when I landed, I got the audition. Could you imagine if I'd have sat there with her and then I'd have got the part? I bet she thought, you're just sat there watching me. Or, you know what I mean? It's like I was stalking her.
She'd be detecting you. She'd
Yeah.
be Agatha Christie.
I know. And then it gets even worse because then it came out and then I was on holiday again and my friend comes out, same place. Wayne Rooney walks out of the water park and he shouts, Aidan, my friend. He was like, how are you doing, mate? And he was with his kids. And I just stood there, I thought, I looked at my partner as if to go, I went, hello, you all right? He went, yes, are you? I was like, yeah. I looked behind him like, please, Colleen, don't be following him. I was like shaking because I thought, could you imagine then? But apparently, so I heard on the grapevine that she was apparently she was pleasantly surprised it was me. So I hope that's true.
Yeah.
I hope so, but you never know.
I mean, I think it's quite flattering to her, but the whole thing is because she's the hero of the piece, isn't she? Really, and it's how did you get on with what was the other actress? Natalia Tanner.
Yeah.
How did you get on, like, off the camera? Did you get on well?
That job there would have put us all in an early grave. We were all so nervous. Honestly, we were holding each other's hand the whole way through because we didn't realise how big it was going to be. And then we started seeing the press get hold of who was playing who. And then we was on like Lorraine this morning. I'm thinking, oh my God, it's like been sent down for something. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't know what we was getting ourselves in for, I don't think, with that project. But we were all really, really close. And we still keep in contact now. But yeah, like I remember, because when you're doing a court case drama and you sat on the stand, there's normally quite a long dialogue that you have to do. And because it was based on the transcript of what actually was said in court, we had to do it word for word. So if we got one word wrong, it wasn't allowed. You had to go back and do it all over again. And so Natalia, who plays Rebecca Vardy, she just had to do all these lines, and I was just sat there, and I walked into a dressing room, I just looked at her, she went, don't. I felt so sorry for her. I'll tell you an embarrassing story that happened to me on that set. Michael Sheen, absolute legend, like one of the biggest actors, and I'm sat there in front of him because he's playing my defence, and he's going through all his lines, and he's going. I'm thinking, oh my God, he's doing amazing. He's like getting it all bang on. And I'm sat there next minute. I thought, oh shit, that's my phone. And I'm just pretending it's not mine. And then the guy that plays Wayne Rooney looked at me and nudges as if to go, it's your phone. I was like, oh. And Michael Sheen's just getting through it. I'm thinking, please, please, please. I look down, my bag's wide open, my character bag, and you can see it's my phone. And I was just like, my whole blood drained from, I went cold. I thought he's going to go mad. And so the reason why it was on loud was because I was listening to Colleen's voice in my head constantly, and I just forgot to switch it on silent. So he's literally got right to the end. He'd gone through pages of speaking. My phone goes off. I thought, whoever that is, I'm never going to speak to again. And I just turned around and went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I just started like basically kissing his ass. I was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, Chanel, it's fine. I was like, oh, thank God for that. So then to break the ice after that, because I think it was like the first day, like I first met him, I bet he thought, I thought, oh my God. So I thought, I've got to break the ice somehow. So I thought, Chanel, the best way to break the ice with a really famous actor, what do you do? So I just sat there for 10 minutes and he was behind me and I could feel him breathing. I thought, oh my God. So I turned around to him, Michael, he said, yeah. I said, would you rather have a monkey on your back or a butterfly at the end of your nose for the rest of your life? He looked at me, I thought, this is going to go one or two ways. He went, oh, I'd rather have a monkey on my back all day long. I thought, brilliant. So that's how we broke the ice.
So Michael Sheen and David Tennant are a bit of a pair, aren't they?
Yeah.
Who's your favourite? Oh, it's quite a hard question, that, isn't it?
I'd be in a sandwich with them both. You don't seem very pleased with that answer.
No, that's fine. I wasn't really expecting to pick.
I'll have a sandwich.
And what do you make of Michael Sheen's commitment to becoming a not-for-profit actor? Because that was really interesting when he declared that, right? Do you know about that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Alison might know more about this than me, right? But he basically declared himself that he's going to give... I'm not setting you up here. I'm not saying you should do this, but he's going to give all the money he makes away from acting to good causes, essentially. That's about right, isn't it? And he's declared himself, you know how you can be like a not-for-profit company and all those things? Well, he's become, I guess, the world's first not-for-profit actor.
So what does he do with his money?
He's just going to give it away.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I might put my name forward.
Yeah.
I guess when you get to a certain level, I guess those things you can do, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, it's real.
Sorry.
That's all right, yeah.
I commend him for it.
So the most recent thing that we've seen you on TV in was in The Gentleman earlier this year. It looked like filming that would have been fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
What's it like working with Guy Ritchie?
I loved it. Yeah, he's really, he's really on the ball. Like, you have to go with your T's crossed and your I's dotted. Like, you have to know your character down to a T because he'll just let you get on with it. Kind of a bit like Shane Meadows, similar. But yeah, I really enjoyed working with him. Like, he's got this big Winnebago that's away from set and he'll sit in there and direct from afar, which I thought was quite interesting because he's obviously sat there with screens in front of him watching what we're going to potentially see. So it's kind of quite a clever way of working. Instead of being on there with us all, he's actually looking from the viewer's point of view. So yeah, I just thought his energy was great. And he really does, he's an actor's director 100%. So I did really enjoy working with him, yeah. It was really funny.
I think my favourite scene that you were in from that was you were razzing a McLaren around in a car park, right?
Oh, yes, that was.
How much of that was you? Were you driving it?
I did drive it, yes.
Oh.
So the day of my birthday, this was in January, they was like, right, you've got a racing car scene. So come to London and we're going to get Ben Collins, who is actually the Stig, not the other guy that they said. He's actually the Stig, Ben Collins. They hired this car park out and they was like, right, are you ready? And yeah, they taught me how to like donut and stuff. And then when I came on set, they got me in the car and was like, right, Chanel, you're going to be doing the donuts again, or the figure of 8 it is. But just remember. So I'm about ready to go. I'm like, yeah, right, yeah, but just remember. And I looked at the car and there was a massive camera rig on it, huge, really, really heavy. And they said, just don't go fast because you've got probably about £500,000 worth of equipment on the front. I looked at him, I was like, that's not great to tell me right now, is it? Because I'm going to put my toe down either way. So if it comes off, get the insurance number ready because I'm not slowing down. But yeah, I love that. First stunt I've ever done, and I love driving cars, and cars are a passion of mine. So yeah, to drive a McLaren and rag it round with £500,000 at stake, which I might be getting sued for at the end of this. It was really, really fun.
Theo James, who's in that, studied for 3 years in Nottingham. Theo James?
I don't know him.
Okay, the
The
guy
really hot guy.
Yeah, the gentleman.
Yeah, the gentleman.
Is that his name, Theo James?
Theo
Isn't
James,
it?
yeah.
Did you ever chat to him about Nottingham? Because he studied here for 3 years, didn't he?
Yeah, he did tell me that. He did say that he'd studied here, but funny enough, I didn't ask him any more about it. But Theo was lovely, yeah, really, really nice guy. It was funny because when I was on the red carpet, I was doing an interview and I heard all these girls screaming, and I went, "Oh, Theo James is here." I turned around, it was David Beckham. I was like, oh my God, David Beckham. And then I just thought, oh, Chanel, get a grip. He's coming to see the thing you're in.
Wow.
Yeah, you should be asking me for a photo.
See, I was going to
But he
ask you
didn't.
if you'd ever been starstruck, but like, who wouldn't get starstruck by David Beckham, right?
Yeah, I was shocked. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting him to be there. But I didn't really say anything to him. I was just like, just tried to act really cool. I used to get starstruck, but then obviously the more jobs you do, the more people you meet, and it's just all, just normal.
Who are your biggest, like your, I don't know, who do you respect the most, actors that, particularly ones you've not worked with, like your icons?
You know what? I don't really have any. I think, I don't know why. Like, I respect people and I think it's people that I feel like I've been more of a mentor, or like, Stephen Graham, Hannah Graham, that really do put time into the industry and helping other people. Like, you Vicky McClaws, people like that have done just so well, and they've come from the same place as you. I commend those sort of people. But anyone that's done a good job, I can appreciate. But
So if your agent phoned you tomorrow and said, I've got the perfect part, what would the perfect part be?
you know what? Because I've done all the serious stuff and I cry and everything, and and things. I'd love to play a superhero. No, not a superhero, a villain. I'd love to play a villain where everyone's after me and I'm like killing people and stuff.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. You never know, they might be making a TV series about me, just not Des Nilsson. It's me killing everybody. But yeah, I'd like to play like in a superhero film where you're invincible and all the costumes and the makeup's just so vivid, and I'd like to do something like that. Have a bit of fun.
Sounds fun.
I'm probably a bit old now, but
what are you doing for Christmas? What are your plans?
why are you asking me to come round?
Well, you can, if you want, but just interested really. You're back in the pub in Ilkeston with the family, going to Vegas or?
No, not Vegas. I did that and I fainted on the first night. I had to have A&E round my room.
Really?
Yeah, this was fun.
Come on, tell us this story.
Well, I'd been filming and I was really, really tired, and my sister was like, no, we're going out. And I was like, Charlotte, I need to go to sleep. This is my sister that didn't get in the workshop. Bitter, very bitter. So she probably did attack me in my sleep. So I said, Charlotte, I'm really tired. Like, I'd been filming like ridiculous hours, got straight on a flight, flew straight to Vegas. And then she's got me at the bar, vodka Red Bull. And I'm like, oh my God, I was absolutely like shattered. So in the middle of the night, we'd partied and whatnot. And then I went to the toilet in the middle of the night and I just fainted. And I fell on the door frame and like cut my ear in half.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, and then the paramedics came around. It's like, look, she needs to go to hospital. She's really dehydrated. And my sister looked at me and went, nah, she's all right. She can stay here. I thought, Charlotte, no, what if... No, she's fine. Just leave her here. I thought,
Lovely caring sister.
So that was me in Vegas. So anyway, Christmas, it's just always my family at home in Derby. Loads of people, help cook. Although this year we're not cooking, we're going out.
Nice.
We've cooked every year, me and my mum.
So is the pub open? Have they still got the pub?
No, that's different now. But yeah. So yeah, at home, and then we're going out. Actually, no washing up to do. Because we normally have about 20 people over. It's like, and we're all, at the time, nobody really had kids, so it was just like, it was like Alcohol's Anonymous. Everyone's just there getting absolutely paralytic. Like, there were just no kids. It was just all adults, like 20 of us. But now there's kids and stuff, so we don't act like that.
A bit more sensible.
We try. Not today, though. It is a Friday.
I know you say you don't watch that much TV at home, but what are the best things you've watched on TV recently?
Rivals. Who's watched that? No.
No, I don't think
Have
I've
you? Oh, it's brilliant. Rivals.
What's Rivals?
What?
I don't think I've watched it. What is it?
Disney? Is it Disney Plus? Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
Who's in it?
It's just so naughty.
Right. No, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
What's it about? What's the plot?
It's about this guy, and he's like the village hot stud, and it's basically about his life and everyone around it. It's like a village, and am I describing it right? Kind of like that, isn't it? And there's a bit of nudity. Yeah, I just think it's really fun.
For 2 decades and nearing 200 printed issues, LeftLion magazine has shone a light on Nottingham's culture and entertainment scene. We believe we are part of what makes the city unique. Not many others in the country or world have a free independent press like us. LeftLion is Nottingham's meeting point for information about what's going on in our city, from the big companies and issues to the grassroots, promoters and community organisations. Our printed magazine is free to access for all, and we believe it's important it stays like that. However, we are increasingly relying upon donations from our readers to continue what we do. If you'd like to support our work, then you can do so by making a monthly pledge at Patreon/LeftLion. By pledging just £2 per month, you'll help make a real difference and will receive the digital copy of our magazine before it's available in town or on our website. If you pledge £5 per month, we'll also print your name or the name of a loved one, your band, your small business or your pet in each issue. If you can support us with a pledge of £10 per month, we'll also send you each issue through the post, and you'll receive an art print of the cover with each copy, plus occasional other free gifts too. For more details about supporting LeftLion, please visit patreon.com/LeftLion.
Attention podcast listeners. Over the next few minutes, you might notice that the voice asking Chanel the questions changes from mine to the voices of a few other people. When we do the live events, we try and make a bit of time for those in the crowd to ask a few questions too. And in this podcast, we've left those in.
This is England, 90. You had a big table scene, and it was like basically LOL and like Woody's confession. And I could tell that there was like no script sort of work in that. What was the preparation for that scene? Because it was probably like the most impactful scene in like the whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah. It was a very strange day, that, because we knew it was coming. So Shane sat us all in the front room of that house, and he was just letting everybody speak about their lives. And I remember Andrew Shim, who plays Milky, was opening up very vividly about his life and what he'd been through. And I remember just sitting there and like listening to everybody's, and I didn't speak myself, didn't say one word. And it was just like a gradual build that he was doing to us all. It was really clever, to be fair. Now looking back, for him to give us that time to just sit and speak about stuff in our lives that had got us like, I don't know, just hard times. And then he literally sat us down at that dinner table, and we kind of started to and he just went, no. Everyone sat in separate rooms, and I remember just sitting on the staircase, and we were left, by the time they'd rigged up 9 cameras, I think it took them 2 hours, and we just had to sit and wait in separate rooms, just ready to film that scene. And Shane came up to me and said, she's going to tell you about your dad. It's up to you with what you do with that information. You either believe her or you don't. You pick. And I thought, oh my God, that's a big decision to just drop that on me and walk out the room. Like, that's the whole point of this series. It's been what it's been building up to. And I'm just deciding, does she believe it or don't she believe it? I thought, oh, fucking hell, like, do you know what I mean? So that was a big weight on my, and I just sat there and I thought, Chanel, just sit in the chair, and whatever you feel with when it comes out of her mouth, just go with it. And I did. And then I remember the bit where I storm out, I was stood in the kitchen and I can hear them still going on. And then I was just going to walk out. You know, the bit where she first leaves, I was just going to stay out the room. I just thought, I've done my bit. Chanel, just leave, just get out the house. And then I heard them still going on about my dad and slagging him off. And I thought, no, if they were talking about my dad, and I just stormed straight back in. And they weren't expecting me to come back in, and I started flipping. And then I remember I stood in the window, and I'm like flipping and I'm going mad. Next minute, I step on the curtain pole falls down. Then we're wrapped in this curtain, me and Joe Gilgan, and we're like, and I'm going crazy. And it just all went. But looking back now, I look at that and go, it's just all a blur. But I'm glad I picked that decision, and I never answered it. When he asked me the question, I didn't answer it. I just said, okay. And I thought, you'll know what to do when it comes. And I think that's the best thing with the workshop. It instills a trust in yourself. Go with your instinct. How you feel at that time, do that. And when I first read a script, I have a notepad, and I always write down my first reaction to the lines that I read, so that I know that was how I truly felt when I first read it. And that's instinct. And that's what I think is great to go on. But the other thing with that as well, we did one shot, all impro'd, and Shane said, we're going to do another one, but he said, the first take's brilliant, like, you've done it all, it's fabulous, but it's just for a safety net in case we lose anything or whatever. So we did a second run of it very, very briefly. And I don't know why I did this, and Vicky was a pro. In the first shot, I don't know if you remember, I picked up a wine glass and I launched it. Vicky didn't move. I did not move. I thought, wow, that's how in character she was. She didn't know I was going to throw that. I just picked up a real wine glass. Nobody knew I was going to throw it. I just picked it up and threw it. And didn't faze that at all, not one bit. And that's commendable to her, because she could have kicked off at that, could have took her eye out. Shane come up to me and went, Chanel, you know, on the second shot, he said, we've got the throw of the glass. Just pick up the bread roll and throw that instead. I went, I'll do that. But Vicky was like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Like, brilliant.
When, like, building a character, what is, like, one of the things you do for your process to make that character, make it, like, believable and real for you, so that it's easier to do when you're doing it?
I think the first decision on that is to pick the right characters that you feel like you can really portray from an honest level. So for me, playing those deeper roles, I feel like I kind of had that in my upbringing to be able to portray them honestly. But I think the first thing is to pick the right roles for you at the right time, because it depends what you're going through. Like, if you really do want to play those honest roles, it has to be the right time for you to play them. And sometimes when you've had a bit more life experience, another role's better than what it is when you're younger. But when I first read a script, I write down everything that connects me to that person. And then, like I said earlier, I read the script and I write down my first initial reaction, because that's my conscious telling me, that's my gut feeling. And then after that, so after I've read my script and wrote down all the bits that how it originally makes me feel, then I go back and write down all the relationships that character has with the other characters, how they feel towards them. And also, it's what does this character, what's their end goal of every scene? What's the point? Why are we telling these people? Why does this scene exist? It's existing for a reason. Why does it exist? And I guess it's just finding the point to that scene and what my character's job. Because some parts I've done when I've done like short films and stuff, and I haven't really got that much to say, but I do it because I love the project and the little bits that I have. And if that means me standing there and being quiet, and that's what I have to serve in that moment, I'll sit there and be quiet. It's not about, This Is England was quite difficult because all improvisation, you've got loads of young, eager actors that are all, trying to get a line. I didn't do that in the film. I sat back and I didn't really say much. So I think it's what serves a purpose as well in the scene. But I definitely think that when you read a script, just try and think how much what your character's saying, like what it means to you and the importance of it. I guess it's instinct. That's all it is. Instinct. Trust yourself and how you feel and go with that. That's what I've done. It's done all right so far.
Is there any one specific piece of advice that you ever got given, or something you learned from another actor that you think really helped you the most out of anything, or your own advice?
I'm sure I've had a lot of those. One piece of advice that I did, that it's only because it's happened recently to me, was, well, there's two things actually, but when I was doing the Vardy v Rooney thing, I was really conscious of not being like her, because she didn't do a lot of interviews at the time. And I remember asking Michael Sheen, you played Tony Blair, how did you do it? Because it's a big thing playing somebody that everyone thinks they know. And he turned around to me and went, it's just your interpretation. Everyone's going to have a point of view. It's your interpretation. It's art. Don't worry about it. Just trust yourself. Do what you think. And I thought, yeah, it's my interpretation. I'm in charge of the character. It's what I decide. They're not going to sack me now. So I thought, yeah, he said, it's just your interpretation. It doesn't have to be spot on. And then I think the other thing is it's very difficult in this industry to especially with Instagram and social media now, you know, you see all your friends that you all audition for the same stuff. And I always said to my friend, we auditioned together. Faye McKeever, she's in Trollied with me, similar age sort of thing. We was always going up for the same stuff. I said, Faye, if it's you, it's you. If it's me, it's me. We're on our own paths. Like, don't look at what other people are doing or how quick they're achieving. You're on your own road. Just stick to that. Don't listen to outside noise. Just focus on you and what you're doing and work as hard as you can. And then it was really nice, because once I let that go, I felt a bit more free. Like, if it's yours, it's yours. If it's not, it's not. Do you know what I mean? Your path's your path, and you'll do what you're destined to do. And you know, some of the parts I don't get, I believe it happens for a reason. So yeah, that'd be my advice there.
Right, I've got 2 more questions from me, if that's okay. One is, we mentioned the BAFTA earlier, but I feel like we skirted over it, and it's this amazing thing. Tell us about that day.
Oh my God. I said to I went to my auntie, I said, I'm up for a BAFTA. My mum, I didn't know, I was with Jack O'Connell, drunk. Sorry, I'm not drunk all the time. This was just a one-off. We'd gone to see Mark Addy and Jack O'Connell in a play in Sheffield, and I took my sister, the bitter one. I actually do get on my sister really well. And I was on Jack O'Connell's sofa, and my mum is trying to get hold of her. She'd been up all night seeing who was up for a BAFTA. And she was ringing my sister, ringing me. So my sister is in another bedroom somewhere. We'd just crashed where we fell. And she's trying to find me in Jack O'Connell's flat. Chanel, everyone's asleep. So she's like, Chanel, where's Chanel? And she reached Jack up, and Jack goes, what? Chanel's up for a BAFTA. Where is she? He went, I don't know. I was on the settee, but I was under loads of pillows and duvets, so she couldn't find me. And then she's like, Chanel, you're up for a BAFTA. I was like, hey. And then all of a sudden, hangover went sharp. I was like, oh my God. Shane Meadows rang me, Mark Herbert, Mark Addy, Stephen Graham, everyone just ringing me. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the best feeling in the world. Because I went through a lot to do that performance, like I did. So to get that, it's the best thing ever. The best. Oh, and then my mum and dad booked tickets. They paid for them, because I only got to take my sister. And I told my auntie, I'm up for a BAFTA. And she looked at me, she went, Chanel, just remember, you might not win. I was like, I know how it works. But I was, I think I was the least favourite. Somebody sent me a poll, or like a where people say who's going to win. I wasn't. I was the last on the list. Leslie Manville, Mummy Leslie, yeah. I forgot the other 2 actresses' names now, 'cause it was so long ago. But yes, I went with my sister, and I remember I stepped on the red carpet, and I was with Stephen and Hannah Graham, and I'd got this bra, and all of a sudden something just pinged. I thought, no, please don't let these loose, not tonight. Yeah, everything just dropped forward. I thought, oh my God. I looked at Hannah Graham, Stephen Graham's wife, who plays Combo, and she plays Trudy. I said, my bra's just broke. I said, and she went, oh no. And all my dress had split at the back. It was like the Hulk, just like, and I thought, oh my God. And so they had to try and get a safety clip and pin me back in. So the picture you see with me and my BAFTA, all the dress is undone. It's all undone at the back. I'm just hanging free there.
You looked fabulous still.
Well, yeah, but inside I was dying. So yeah, the BAFTAs was amazing. Had a great time. And my mum and dad bought tickets, right? And they were right at the back. And I could, as soon as my name got read out, I could hear my dad shouting. And I thought, I know where his tickets are. And he's no way right at the front. And I could hear him shouting. He was really, really close. I thought, he's blagged it. He'd blagged it all the way from the back right at the top. He blagged it to come all the way around to the side. So I looked up, my dad's there, and I thought, your tickets were back up there. How have you managed that? He went, he managed to blag himself to the front.
Oh, what a ledge.
Using my name, obviously.
I saw the speech. I've watched the speech recently.
Oh, I messed it up, yeah. Like most of my life.
Do you know before, you're allowed to say, do you know before if you're going to win that, or do you just literally find out when they say it?
Find out.
Well, yeah.
But there is a bit of a delay, I think, because when he said my name, the cameras, before he kind of just said it, turned to me. And I thought, I looked at my sister, I thought, oh, no, this is what my sister said, the bitter one. She looked at me, she went, if they do say your name. I said, yeah. She said, just act cool. I thought, she's having a laugh. So anyway, I said, shark, don't worry, yeah, I'll act cool. She said, yeah, if they do say your name, remember the camera's on you, just act as cool as possible. They said my name, she jumped up, screaming in the air, we look like we're from Derby. Said, oh my God. I was like, yeah, keeping it cool, are we? Take your own advice.
Amazing.
Yes, that was a very special day. And then I smuggled my parents into the after party. Yeah, which was not allowed. They was not letting them in. So I chatted up this guy. Sorry if it was you. I did enjoy your company while it lasted. I chatted up this guy. I grafted, flirted with him, did everything I could. He had the guest list for the door. And so I flirted. Oh, and he let them in. It worked. So thank you for that, whoever it was.
Did they have a nice night?
Him or them?
Your mum and dad?
Oh, yeah. My dad didn't make it in the end, but I got my two brothers, my sister, obviously she was with me anyway, and my mum. So I smuggled no one had ever known anything like it. Like I was just smuggling loads of Derby folk in. Yeah, so it was worth flirting and it worked.
Wonderful. So, final question, what's coming next? What's the next time we're going to see you on our screens?
Well, I've just done a film, funnily enough, with Hannah Graham, called, I don't know if I can say it actually, because I don't think we've even, I'm getting myself in so much trouble every time I open my mouth. Yeah, I've done basically a writer contacted me on Instagram and asked if I wanted to do a film, and it was based on a true story about his life, about mental health. He just said, like, males really struggle about talking about it. So I was like, perfect. I'm not in it a lot, but it was more about the project for me. Like I was saying earlier, if something really does ring true, it's not necessarily about how many lines you have, really, for me. And he did say, oh, we'll make your character bigger and stuff. And I said, no, keep her as she is. She serves the purpose and I get it. So that's the next one. And I was with an actor called James Nelson Joyce, who was an amazing actor, who was in Little Boy Blue. And so it was a real honour to work with him as well, because I think he's fabulous. And then The Gentleman 2.
Ah, okay. Is that filmed? Has it started filming or?
No, not started, next year.
Right, exciting.
So yeah, that's me.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, everybody. It's a Friday night.
Can we have a round of applause for Chanel, please?
Thank you.
So, I hope you enjoyed that, Natta. The interview was recorded at a live event at Nottingham Central Library on Friday the 6th of December 2024. It was the final one of our Live at the Library recorded events for 2024. Thanks to the Arts Council England for the funding that made them happen. Towards the end of the interview, you might have heard a bit of panic from me as Chanel mentioned the name of Ben Collins as the Stig from Top Gear when she was talking about her role in the Guy Ritchie CV series The Gentleman. However, we left all that unedited in the end because later research revealed that Ben Collins had actually outed himself more than a decade before in his biography The Man in the White Suit. So there's nothing to see there after all. As ever, I'd highly recommend watching through some of the shows we talked through. All 3 series of This Is England are still available to watch for free on Channel 4's online streaming service. The Gentleman's available on Netflix, and both The Bay and Des are on ITVX. Our thanks to Chanel for being such a lovely, warm and open guest. We also want to thank our friends at the Television Workshop, and in particular Alison Rashley and Carly Dodsley for helping make it happen. Plus, we'd like to thank them generally for all the amazing talent they continue to bring through to entertain us all. It's not just the Nottingham actors that you know through Shane Meadows' work that come from the workshop. It's also Samantha Morton, Bella Ramsey and Joe Dempsey from Game of Thrones, Ewan Mitchell from House of the Dragon, and Aaron Kellyman from the Star Wars and Marvel films. Plus many, many more. If this is the first time that you've listened to our podcast, then I'd urge you to go back and check out the previous episodes. In particular, you might enjoy the one with director Shane Meadows from last October, who's obviously worked with Chanel and helped her throughout her career. Also, we're planning to put out one extra episode of this podcast between Christmas and New Year. This is an interview that we recorded privately rather than in front of a live audience. I'm not going to reveal who it is right now, other than to say it's a person who's had significant influence over the Nottingham music scene for the last few decades, and someone who doesn't do many interviews. It's a good one. Thank you for listening right to the end. Bye bye!